So in this video we'll start with the introduction to wireless channel modeling. So what are the different assumptions that we require to consider before channeling wireless model, okay, wireless channel models. So the first thing, I'll introduce the basics of this wireless communication. So first we will tell what is channel, then we will discuss what is propagation. So channel is nothing but the medium through which the signal is transferred from one point to another point. So consider this is a transmitter. You can see this is the transmitter, and we have another one antenna over the other side. We have the receiver, and from the transmitter the signal transmitted and it goes, and finally it received at the receiver end. So this is a wireless communication, and this medium from where the transmitter is transmitting and it reaches the receiver, through which medium it is transferring the data or the signal, and that is called the channel. Okay, so the medium where the signal is traveling from one point to another point, and that is called the channel. Okay, and basically the RF communication is happening, so radio frequencies are propagating through this channel. Okay, and now what is propagation basically? So propagation is the tendency of electromagnetic wave to travel from one place to another place. So basically it's electromagnetic waves where the electric and magnetic fields are perpendicular to each other, and that will be traveling from one place to another, and that is called the propagation. Okay, so this is the scenario. So even if it is mobile communication, we have the tower, BTS, base station transceiver, and the other side as the user you are there. So between the mobile phone and the tower, how the communication happens, and that is I'm going to tell. Okay, so now when a signal hits object, for example when it's traveling from one place to another, it will not get a direct line of path with that, because line of path in the sense line of sight area, that there won't be any kind of obstacles, and it is not possible basically. So because our environment, we know there are buildings, trees, and different things are happening, standing in between the transmitter and the receiver. So when a signal hits the obstacle, there are three possible effects that would happen to the signal based on the surface on which the signal impinges. So consider the situation that there are some object in between the transmitter and receiver, and when the signal hit on any of these objects, there will be three possible effect happens, and those objects are, these effects are basically depends upon the surface of this signal impinge on it. Okay, so for example, I given an example here. We have a building over here, okay, and we have a tower here, and from the tower the signal is transmitting. When the signal hit on this particular building, okay, so building, three type of effects happen. The first effect is that the signal fall on the surface of the building and it get totally reflected. That is called reflection. One property is called reflection. And another, the second effect is that when the signal transmitted, then the transmitter, and it will reach on the edge edge of the, corners of the corner, basically corner of the building, then what happen, it will scattered in different directions. This is called scattering. And when the signal impinge on an irregular surface in the edges, for example the signal falls on this edge side, then there will be a small deviation of the path, and that is called diffraction. So there are mainly three effects happen. One is the reflection, the other one is the scattering, and the third one is the diffraction. So these three different types of effect happens when the signal travels from the transmitter to receiver, and in between these path there will be some object. Definitely these three effects will happen. Now the need for propagation model. So why we consider all these effects, why we consider this like real time scenario? The reason is that all the propagation model mechanism have different effect on propagating radio waves. Okay, because when we design, because before analyzing in this simulation environment, we cannot implement, or we cannot fix the entire infrastructure for the real communication. So we need to model everything. We do the testing in simulation environment, and then we calculate where we need to fix the tower and how much power is need to transferred, so that the user in the other end can receive it without any distortion. And by adding all these objects in between the transmitter and receiver, these effects will be considered, and then how much I need to transfer, how much power I need to transfer. So because of this only, we are considering all these factor, and we are modeling the channel, and we do calculating the power. Hope you understand. Now, how we do this estimation of received signal? So basically it is RSS, the strength of the received signal. So how we estimate the strength of the received signal from the main transmitter to a distant receiver, or the receiver antenna. So basically there are basically two ways to predict this received signal power. The first method is called empirical method. This is the first method. So an empirical method involves the use of objective quantitative observations in a systematic controlled environment, and then we do the calculation. Okay, it's basically theory refined theory basic. We have all the controlled environment, and we calculate, and we will do this. And other one is called propagation model. So propagation models are basically mathematical modeling, and we consider the radio propagation characteristics as a function of frequency, distance, and all other conditions what we discussed. Okay, those conditions we apply the mathematical concept like probability and distributions, and then we will calculate how much signal will be, the power of the signal will be received at the receiver side. So this is called propagation model. So we are going for propagation model in order to model the wireless channel. So propagation models, benefits or advantages of propagation model. With propagation model, it is very easy to design and easy to simulate and plan the wireless systems, because we are doing it in simulation. We are considering all these parameters, all these different effects of signal transmissions, and we model the entire system, so that we can able to do it in the real time. So by after computing entire wireless systems, then we can directly go for the deployment phase. So for that, this modeling of wireless channel is very important. And the propagation model reflect the properties of the propagation channels. So propagation model is taking in account of all these different parameters that happens in the real time, so that can be able to model the propagation channel in the simulation. So since the wireless channel characteristics are dynamic in nature, one single model cannot be defined for the estimating wireless systems. So as you know that the wireless channel characteristics are dynamic in nature, it changes from time to time. So because of that, a single, if we are depending on a single model, then it's difficult for estimating the wireless systems, because it changes, the characteristics will changes with the time to time. So we go for multiple models for for predicting the wireless characteristics. So the modeling a wireless radio channel decides basically the coverage area, then the modulation scheme required in order to optimize the communication parameters. So this is actually all the advantages of propagation models. Now we will get into the types of propagation models. So models that have been deployed to meet the need of realizing the propagation behavior in different fading conditions. What is fading? So fading is actually the degradation of signal power when it propagates from one point to another point. This is called fading. and here you can see that when the user move over a small distance, and the instantaneous received signal strength fluctuates rapidly, give rise to a small scale fading. So when the signal strength is varying due to the change in distance of the user for a small period of time. For example, small distance in the receiver cause a sudden fluctuation in the received signal, and this is called small scale fading. And in the opposite side, when the user move a large distance and the average received signal strength gradually decreases. So that decrease in the signal strength because of the the movement of user for a long distance, and this terms as a large signal fading. So we consider these two fading models, and here is the diagram for the difference between in order to understand what is small scale fading and large scale fading. So as you can see that the signal we took in the x-axis, we took the distance, that is the distance between the transmitter and the receiver, and in the y-axis we took the received power in dBm. And as you can see that the signal strengths are fluctuating. At one point it is somewhere here, then it dropped suddenly, again it start increasing and goes to the maximum level, and likewise the signal strength are fluctuation, and these small fluctuation in the signal is nothing but small scale fading, and it is because of the movement of user for small distance. And if you look at, and for example here you can see that the small signal fading is indicated here over here, and that means when here is the signal strength for one particular if you take the x-axis down, it will be around 20 to 20.5 something, and if you take, then the value decreases and then again increases to one value, and if you consider that point, it will be somewhere around 21. So within small point, it is in meters, so it is like you are moving 50 centimeters, and within the 50, not yes, exactly 50 centimeters, and in that small distance you are moving, you can see there is a increase, then a decrease, and there is an increase. So that fluctuation is actually called small scale fading. And in terms of large scale fading, you can see that consider the x-axis again, it starts from 14 meter, and the scale ends in 28 meters. So if you look at, for example, in the diagram, it is like you take this particular point, in this particular point the value is around 19 meter. So the separation between the transmitter and receiver is 19 meters, and in that point, and also you consider somewhere here. So if you take the average, there is a drastic change in the signal strength. Okay, so that difference in large difference, if you take the average value, the difference in that signal strength is due to the large distance traveled by the user from a transistor, and this is called large scale fading. Hope you understand this concept. So these are the basic things that we consider before going for the propagation models, and in the upcoming video we will discuss different types of propagation models. The